Hello, back again. Day drinking with David. I don't know what's going on with the lighting today. I don't know, maybe it's a weird yellow shirt, white hat, maybe that's screwing everything up, but yeah, very excited to be here. Just me and you today. No one special coming through, and for that matter, we've got some special stuff to taste, actually. The new batch of Old Particular casks. These are probably not going to be in the country before the end of the year. Sorry, my mom just called. 1 second. On the old Do Not Disturb. So we probably won't see these before 2022. Normally we would put our order in around now and get it shipped late August for arrival September, early October. But we've been told that anything that leaves tomorrow likely won't arrive for 16 to 18 weeks. And as soon as our stocks start to show up November, December, you know, the way the store gets, it's pretty much, you know, not real. I mean, it's not going to happen until 2022. So that being said, there is a huge variety. I mean, we're talking so much stuff here. I'm just going to read through what we've got on the table. Talisker 11 year, yes please. Which of course they're so fancy now, but they're so good. Bunahaven 14, Abelard 15, Kalila 12, Lachig 12, Mortlock 15. Did I say that already? Tomatin 12, Glengarry 15, Dalmore 15, Laphroaig 16. Oh, that's going to be expensive. Dahlia 12, Glengarry 12. Look at these. Jura, that's a weird one, 15. Lachig 15. Tormore 25. Very light looking 25. Let's see if that's any good. Macduff 23. That can be fun. Rothie 16. Krigalki 14. Orkney 16, Inchgower 30. That's kind of cool. Tristan's here, nice. Brian, you haven't missed anything. I'm just going through our samples and a Glenturret 17. Interestingly, Douglas Laing was the distributor of Glenturret in the UK before it sold. So they have access to some pretty good casks there. I think you guys remember we did a nice 12-year-old. It's pretty fun. Kilted Chef, excited for the Lachigs. More Tormore. There's so much Tormore. The Tormore is fun. I'm just gonna start and taste these. Give you my first impressions. This is the first step to deciding whether we want these casks or not. Is to get just a very baseline first impression. We're gonna start youngest and least peaty to oldest and most peaty and or most peaty. Lots of 15-year stuff. So the chigs are going to have to sit around until the end for it, because those are monsters. Mortlock. Inchgower. Jura. Here's Glenrothes. Krigalki. We've got a 16. I can't imagine this one's better than that, but you never know. All right, so we'll start with a Tomatin. 58% alcohol. It's a 12-year-old. This is, of course, all of these will be under the Old Particular label. These are all new possibilities for the store, exclusive picks. We're selecting that would be filled into a container over the next month or two and likely go pre-arrival, but probably won't arrive until 2022. No Balblair. You know, I really wanted another Balblair. I've been bugging their new importer about it, and they shipped me a sample of 23-year-old Balblair, which was fabulous. And unfortunately, it's really got darn expensive. Like cray, really out there. And while I'm confident that Balblair is able to sell their wonderful whiskeys at those ridiculously high prices in some markets, and certainly I could take a few cases, you know, I'm sure we could move a few, but you know, 300-400 bottles, that's, you know, $500+ retail for a 23-year-old Balblair, even an excellent one. But this is the way the market's going. So, you know, it's less and less likely that we'll see distillery bottled stuff because they're sort of looking at it and saying, hey, we sold plenty, you know, with the tariff. Why would we lower our prices now? You know, I think there's something to be said for that. You know, it's tough to fault people for that. Ooh, this Tomatin's super fruity. Big citrus, orchard fruit, apples, pears. Very fruity. Fresh sort of mineral note. Whiskey's Badgers spoken, definite nope on $500 Balblair. I mean, maybe if it were, you know, 30 plus years old, I could see it. There is an excellent, very expensive and delicious Balblair in stock at Gordon MacPhail. They have an 89 that was bottled last year that's killer, but $700 plus, something like that. Crazy, crazy stuff. We did secure 3 new barrels of, if you guys haven't had the Klein Leash, it's the Gordon MacPhail Klein Leash, it's absolutely bonkers. As is the Scapa, you know, not as shockingly unique as the Klein Leash is that we picked. But I do have 3 new barrels secured from Gordon MacPhail. The quality, and you know, they're a little more expensive. Of course, we're going 3 tiers with Gordon MacPhail. They're a little more expensive than our direct imports, but not like crazy, not like double or triple the price like we often see. And the quality is exceptional. Dine and Drink asks, nobody I know who remembers how great value Balblair's Old Vintage. Yeah, it's so crazy. I don't know where, I mean, I get that everybody wants to like premiumize their products and like that makes sense to me. But part of why these things sold was because they offered incredible value. It's like, okay, now that you're doubling the price and you're saying, okay, well, what is out there at that price? Now you can start buying really special stuff that's sitting on the shelf, or, you know, maybe eventually all that stuff will be gone, I guess. But, oh, this Tomatin is really tasty. Pretty simple, honestly, but still very, very well made. Almost a little like smoky note on the palate. I wonder if that's me. Let me have another go. A little bit of water just to open it up. Of course, this is not going to be my final decision. This is basically, you know, separating the wheat from the chaff here. If there's anything good, we'll know it now. There was a 30-year-old Inchgower, but we'll see. I have secured these Gordon MacPhail's a 2000 vintage Scapa. I'm sorry, not Scapa. We have a Scapa already from 2000. Glen Scotia, which I thought was fun. An old 25-year-old Strathyla, which will be expensive, of course, but it's really, really good. And a 2003 Ardmore. Quite a nice. The pre-arrivals, despite the shipping snafus that are out there right now, the pre-arrivals, Brian F. is asking about the ETA, still July 31st for everything except for the Italian stuff. Italian stuff is a separate container. So that's, you know, your high spirits and those goofy toucan rums. The GNMs are really, really delivering on the promise, and I think totally worth the upside. You know, a little like Signatory. Like those Signatories, they're a little more expensive, you know, especially now that the tariffs are gone. They're not as outrageously overpriced. You know, we did great with that 13-year-old Glenlivet, but the same juice was selling a year before for $40 less. So, the Tomatin is solid, malty, fruity, easy drinking. No legend, but a really solid little malt. Hopefully we can get it in a price point that makes sense. Moving on to Glengarry. We have a 10-year right now. Same juice, I believe. It's the same vintage. Of course, they don't put the vintage on this. This is at 53.1. I've got a lot of samples to sift through. Thompson's end of July as well. Yeah, if you saw those, the tiny bits of Tormore that we got from Thompson and that ridiculous 7-year Ben Nevis, those sold out very quickly. We had 60 bottles of the Ben Nevis and only 36 of the Tormore, maybe 48. So those will be. Johnny, Debs, I just joined. So yeah, we are. My thoughts on the Bimber. They're excellent. I tasted them here some time ago. I guess they would be the same casks. You know, the only problem is we only got 30 bottles. So, you know, considering how hard they are to get and what the, you know, prices are in Europe already, it's kind of ridiculous. Oh, we got a lot of talking today. I love this. Definitely appreciate the immense selection of indie bottlings you have had the last few years. Thank you. Yeah, we wish we could have more, but, you know, oftentimes we look at those prices and we're just like, well, back to the distilleries, you know, at a certain point, you know, right now everybody's out of stock of everything. You know, I placed an order and they, you know, they ship 1/5 of what we've ordered. So, you know, we brought in a couple of new, you know, Distiller's Art and Cadden Heads and stuff like that. But, you know, Cadden Head, like, it's fabulous stuff. Really well curated, small batch Dahlia, but, you know, it's a Dahlia that's 10 years old and it's $140 and probably worth it, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But, you know, how much of that can we really sell? The Thompson Ben Nevis coming back, almost certainly not, Chase. I'm so sorry. We had 60 bottles, boom, boom, bang, gone. So, yeah, well, I'm constantly bugging Phil. Glengarry's nice. Yeah, a bit honeyed, a little pepperiness to it. Not super distinctive. I kind of usually like it when it's a little more rugged. But it has a lot of richness to it. Great texture. Moving on to the Dahlia. This is a 12-year-old Dahlia. A lot of 12-year-old stuff here. 57% alcohol. Probably should add water to that Glengarry before I moved on. And yeah, this is pretty. You know, Dahlia is not the most distinctive malt out there, but this is quite floral, really, which is not my favorite style, honestly. But white flowers and kind of sponge cakey type sweetness to it on the nose. Oh, I don't care for that. It's kind of sharp. It's got a weird acidity to it. What an odd cask. Let's see if some water opens it up. I usually quite like young Dahlia, and it's just usually fresh and aperitif-y. I mean, this isn't a totally naked cask here, so I was expecting to like it, but that's a bit astringent. Maybe it needs some air. Okay, we'll come back to Dahlia. That's probably a no, but you never know. I might come around that. Moving on to this flight of 15-year-olds. Lots of 15-year-old stuff. The rest are... Oh, there's so much good 15 here. Throw in the Bunahaven. The rest are the Peters. Some 16, and then the big boys at the top. Okay, this is a 15-year-old Dalmore. You know, for years we never saw Dalmore on the blenders on the bottlers market, but we got one from Hunter Laing last year, 13 year. Quite a controversial whiskey. Some people loved it, other people hated it. You know, that's the way it goes. You can't suit everybody. It's actually pretty interesting, the malts that become divisive, like the pretty straightforward, simple Dalmore, which I think was fine for the price. You know, you had such strong opinions on each side about people who just absolutely thought it was the best thing they'd ever had, and the opposite. So, see how this one goes. This is very classic, malty, bits of honey, a little like lactic nose, something slightly, yeah, like not sour, but like yogurty. Brett, our friend Brett Colombo, when you typically seen expected dates on the website, July 31st or Jan 1, are those typically broad placeholders or more specific expected reception dates? Those are relatively broad placeholders. Pre-arrivals take some time to process. The actual sale date, I mean, the actual arrival date, the ETA on file when it left Scotland was June the 15th. We're expecting 3 to 4 weeks excess time to get into port and to clear customs. It's really getting into the port that's the problem. So I've given myself till mid-July plus 2 weeks to process. So that's relatively doable. But if you need it for June for August 1, those are not the best. Those are not the best products for you. See, Kilted Chef like the Cromartie. Kilted Chef noting that was a nice bottle. I had other people who thought it was subpar. I think there are some pretty negative Reddit reviews, and customers who thought it was meh. But at the same time, a lot of people loved it. I mean, it's a people. I think there's a lot of sort of baggage around Dalmore because of the brand is so, flashy and 80 proof and colored and all that stuff. And so just to see it fresh, I mean, this is nice. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not special. I prefer the Cromartie. Unless the price is really good on that's probably a pass. Okay, on to, I'm trying to do like the lighter style malts when I can here. On to Glengoyne. We've had another Glengoyne with these guys. It seems like we're getting a lot of the same stuff from them. This is the problem with not going to Scotland. The reason, I need to go back is, we love our suppliers, but when we're here, we're relying on them to decide what we want. When we're there, you're literally sitting there looking at the barrels or looking at the samples and the hundreds of other casks they've bottled for other markets, and you're saying, oh my God, look, there's a whatever. There's a Kleinleach. Do you have one of those? Oh yeah, sure, whatever. We did secure a nice older Kleinleach just recently, which will be, of course, very expensive, blah, 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 blah. Not very old, 22, 23 years old, but, and quite the opposite of that last one. If you guys remember the Signatory, the big, dark, bonkers one, this is refill hoggy, very, very different style, but the quality is insane. Me and Kleinleach, it's definitely one of my top fives. This Glengoyne is lovely. So the Goyne has an unusual earthiness to it, almost like fresh tilled soil. There's definitely kind of a yellow flower, like almost honeysuckle note. There's a little funk behind it, which is unusual for Glengoyne, I think. It's a pretty clean malt. Just give it some water. Oh, and Andrew Whiteley, my partner in Northern California, has become a father as of this morning. A little healthy little boy. So that's exciting news. We'll toast to him. To you, Andrew. Congratulations. Thanks for helping make K&L the best spirits store in the country, in my estimation. The water cleans it up a lot. Now we're getting lots of citrus peel, orange, some lemony stuff. Creamy vanilla, good texture. That's definitely in the maybe pile. Definitely in the maybe pile. That should be the name of this show. Definitely maybe. I bought, bourbon is a big problem. We don't have any access to bourbon. You guys know that. That Four Roses cut our allocation by 3 barrels. Of the 5, used to be 10 or plus. Now we're getting 2 single barrels from our friends at Four Roses, which I'm particularly upset with because I just love going there, and Al was such a homie, and Mandy, who runs the program, is like literally my favorite person in Kentucky. So no reason to go there this year because they've given us our 2 barrels and they're very, very good. No 12-year-old this year, but still good stuff. So this isn't a 15-year-old Abelauer. Nice high proof, 63.5. Another one we've for years never saw, sort of like Dalmore, and now they're creeping out of the woodworks. How would you compare the Mortlock and the Balblair? Well, you're talking about the Sovereign. Let's start with Chris's question about the Redacted Brothers blended malt, because it was first. I like it a lot. It's super drinkable. It's low proof. There's definitely some very old whiskeys. The age we stayed on there is the age of the youngest whiskey in the blend. And these were married, in a sherry barrel for some time, it seems. So I think there's quite older stuff. It's all Edrington juice. So Mortlock, Glenrothies, Glenturret, that's the sort of thing we're looking at here. And for $80, it's really hard to beat in single malt. The sherry is very obvious, and but I wouldn't call it like a bomb. As for the Sovereign Mortlocks, that's going to be a matter of taste. The Sovereign Mortlock and Balblair, I lean toward the Balblair personally. I'm a huge Mortlock fan, to have the sherry with the Mortlock is great, but that Balblair is just rocking. Pretty dark color, lots of complexity. But when we get those things in, we'll have plenty of those left, and I'll open them here and we can all talk about it before. Yes, Dan notes, boo on Four Roses. Russell's picks, I picked 3 barrels out in 2019. Those should be coming soon. According to them, they're kind of lost in the system. I don't know what's happening. And then they only offered us 1 barrel. See, this is how it's going everywhere. They only offered 1 barrel. Essentially, we used to be able to have whatever we wanted. I guess we pissed a lot of people off when we went there and took like 10 barrels. Which I guess that was greedy, but I guess people don't like to say no to us. But in any case, now they've really buckled down. So only 1 barrel in SoCal and 1 barrel in NorCal, it looks like, for Russell's this year. But I have 3 barrels on order still that have literally been lost. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Those should still be in barrel. They haven't sold them to somebody else, but in any case, they owe me 4 barrels, so we'll see what's going on with that. They're just so good. So that's that. This Abelauer is fun. I imagine it's expensive. It's very, very creamy nose. Lots of vanilla. Clean malt. Nothing super distinctive. So without a particularly good price, that's going in the maybe pile, because I know they like to upcharge for that. 15-year-old Mortlock, however, I'm willing to pay a little extra for. I'm a big Mortlock man, despite what I said moments ago on the Sovereign. But Whiskey Badge, you like the Ragno? The 35, it's pretty tasty. Cognac, we have a lot of interesting things going on with cognac. What I do have, though, are a bunch of Gros Perrin coming through Charles Neal, which are really, really exciting. Dan asks about, Russells. I guess everybody wants them now. Even just a few years ago, we really had to push to sell those Russell's picks, even though the quality was exceptional. We had a few barrels, I think, close out, which is like outrageous. But now they come and go as soon as possible. This Mortlock's gorgeous. Big, beefy, malty nose. Huge contrast to the Abelauer. Oh, yeah. Chocolatey. I love, sometimes you get some of those, like, sherry flavors that you associate with sherry. And then you're like, oh, that's why the malt works so well with it. Oh, with water, really perks up. Pretty stuff. Any idea when you'll get the new Russells? It's supposed to be soon. It will be extremely limited. That's the bad news. It's going to be quite tight, they say. I mean, $80, it's going to go quick, so. Russell's is supposed to be dope, no doubt. Russell's 13. Can't go wrong with Wild Turkey. I just bought a bunch of old Wild Turkey 101 8-year from an auction. And it looks like it's lost in the mail. That's exciting. So, bummer there. FedEx got to get their stuff together. The Mortlock's great. Yes. Okay, moving on to some of the funkier stuff here. Krigalki. I'm going to leave the sherried stuff for later. We're going to do... I think I'm going to do the Bunnahabhain 14 before I do the Jura, because Jura can be quite weird. And... Ouch. Brett says ouch. Oh, because of the Russells? Yeah, it's not fun. Buna, very low-key Buna. I don't have specific notes on the 17-year. You know, our samples, unfortunately for that, were very, very small, the entire lineup. So we had enough to basically do this, which is not enough to write proper notes. So when everything shows up, it'll be here. That Orkney is very good, if I remember correctly, and the price is ridiculous. It's not sherried. It's definitely has a little bit of that Orkney peat. Any Buna 18, you mean the distillery bottling, Noble Physician? I don't believe so. We've kind of moved away from Buna right now. The prices are so ridiculous. You know, they want the 12-year at like $79.99. It's just like, come on. Are bottles still popping up from time to time that may not see the website? That's pretty rare. You know, the only time we'd ever hold something back is if two stores like we're getting the same inventory. So like say LA got Blanton's on Thursday, but San Francisco's not going to get it until Tuesday. We might, to avoid just shipping it back and forth, we might hold it for a couple of days in that situation. But otherwise, everything is live. And technically those are live, not just for logistics reasons. We don't like to do that. So the Buna Slee is asking about the Bunnahabhain Signatory 13-year, which is fabulous but ridiculously expensive. You know, Bunnahabhain is a wonderful distillery, and finding it young and sherry. I've tasted that out of barrel. We almost bought it back in the day, or back the year before, but it was too expensive even direct. Then add tariffs and all this stuff, you know, $180 for that, it's a lot. I mean, obviously I'm selling it. It sells and it's totally delicious. But, you know, unless you really want that big boy sherry, it is a big boy sherry. And there's not a lot out there like that. So if you got a little extra coin, you know, that's not a bad choice. But, oh, Joe's here. Cool. Well, I quite like this Bunnahabhain, but I imagine it'll be quite expensive. I think, it's quite chocolatey. I love the sort of the salted chocolate you get at the end of these sometimes. Kind of reminds you it's Isla, even though it's not peaty. Now on to Jura. This is a 15-year-old Jura at 59%. I do call you Big Boy Sherry. Maybe I'll call you Big Boy Jerry, Joe. Jura 15. You never know with these. These can be all over the place. So I'm excited to try this and see where it is. Oh, weird. Oh, it's one of these very floral ones. ET on Fortaleza Single Barrel. Chuck's on it. Chuck knows what's real. Fortaleza Single Barrel should be here soon. I'd say 3 to 4 weeks. If I'm buying one bottle a day, 98 Inchgour or 06 Kleinleash? Kleinleash. Easy answer. Get the Kleinleash before it's gone. It's going to be gone soon. Kleinleash is insanely good. That Inchgour is delicious, but not Kleinleash. Oh, I hate this. Oh my God. It's like lavender and soap. I guess some people do like this style. A little like tropical fruit, almost like fruit punchy on the palate. You have any Kilchoman Mackier Bay cask strength? Joe, for you, anything. Kind of has like a pezzy note to it as well. Like candied lavender or something like that. Oh, I really dislike it. That's not my style. I wonder, I'll have to get a second opinion about this. It's kind of a cool cask, but it's very, very odd. Okay, that was terrible. I need a drink of water. We're doing now some sherried stuff. We're gonna do some sherried stuff. Krigalki 14, lovely color. Huge fan of Krigalki. Can't argue with it. Don't argue with Krigalki. Always say yes to Krigalki. Well, I'm sure we'll buy this cask. I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm sure we'll buy it. Nice color, not as dark as the 16 year we have, which was quite heavily sherried. That was a first fill. I imagine this is refill. Just looking at the color. They don't give us that information until later. And I demand it. Oh, it's a funky one. Fumy. Diesel fumy. A bit farty, really. Maybe I won't buy this one. Oh God. DJ's here. DJ's my man. Pretty tasty. There's definitely that rugged Krigalkiness. Let's see what a little water does. Oh, it still has that little fartiness to it. Oh, I don't know about this. Does it come back to it? Maybe there's something wrong with me. Yeah, a little bit of sulfur. A little bit of sulfur, which is not unusual. Krigalki has a sulfury side to it, even the spirit, despite the sherry, in spite of the sherry, or despite it, whatever. Little bits of sulfur. It's not so bad. It's actually sometimes aeration can help that. Yeah, that's opening up. That's getting better. If we buy this, it'll come with a bit of a warning. Just give it a swirl. It's a bit of water. What single malts? Brett's got great questions. What single malts do you see the most value in today's market? Well, there's almost nothing left that's offering value. I think a couple of the independents still do. Kilchoman, I think for $50 is a great whiskey. Someone mentioned it earlier. Chuck, thanks for that. Classic. I still think Kleinleash, 14 is, if you can get it at the old price, but everything's gone up so much, it's hard to say. Ardbeg, it's crazy prices still. They've been trying to push the price up, and we're obviously taking a good, cut on our margin to be competitive, but those are good values. I would have said Glendronach until they raised the price 33% in the last month. This has opened up quite a bit. So less farty, more fumy now. Diesel engine. There's some fruit now. I've got a bottle open. Thanks for the heads up, though. Yeah, that opened up nicely. That's pretty good. Really nice contrasting style from the 16 year we have. Yeah, Ardbegs are hard to argue with. There are some IBs that work. Let me think. What else? I think Glenallachie is a killer value. The 12 and certainly the small batches when they're available. Those are excellent values. Glenfarclas still. I would say Glen Scotia, but also they've raised their prices 30%. They haven't all been reflected on our shelf yet. Like Glendronach, we're not stocking right now because of the price, so we're waiting for them to come back down. Who knows if they will? I think Ben Riach makes good whiskey for the price. The 12-year-old Kilkerran, we still have the old price, $69.99. That's probably the best dollar for dollar whiskey in the store. Gosh, what else? What else? Yeah, those are probably the big ones off the top of my head that I can think of. Tough call though. It's a good question, Brett. Okay, moving on. Rothie's. This is a distillery I love to hate, but a lot of people do love it. I find a lot of their distillery bottlings tend to have like a footiness, like wet gym sock. No offense, my friends at Rothie's. I hope you don't watch this. But they've gotten better recently, and I think the new, the single barrels can be excellent. Obviously a lot of people love Rothie's. I have an old Rothie's. A customer gave me a 79. That's spectacular. This is a bit footy though. Will you be getting any Ardner Merchant? If they bring it here, we'll get it. I'm a huge fan of the Bruce family and their distillery and bottler. They've elected a new importer. Oh, Joe with the pun. I love that. Glen Ruthless. Wow. I don't mean to disparage them in particular. I'm saying older bottlings did have some of that. It's not really sulfur in this case. It's this funk. This one's not so bad though. Chocolatey. Getting a lot of chocolate today. Almost like marzipan, maple syrup. It's a pretty good little Rothie's. Pretty good. Which probably means a lot considering my bias against it. Oh yeah, with water that opens up a lot. Candied orange peel. Some more cocoa on the nose, like dark cocoa. It's pretty. Yeah, that's good stuff. Onward, Glenturret. This is a 17-year-old from the odd Swiss-owned distillery. One of the oldest in Scotland. 55.7. Pretty good color. Not as dark as a 12-year-old we had, but I'm surprised these stocks made it out because I know the new owners, I'm sure, want to expand. Here we're on more like the milk chocolate, much lighter. Some tropical fruit, cherries, red cherries. Glenturret, I think owned by Lalique Crystal now. I don't know if we'll see them in the States. They're quite sought after, very high-end stuff. This might be one of our only chance. Thoughts on cask strength, Springbank, and any inbound? Noble Physician states, my thoughts on cask strength Springbank is that if you can get it, you should get it. It's spectacularly good. I haven't had this new batch, but every batch I've ever had is lovely. Compared to some of their other malts, it remains one of the better values. I think it crushes the 10-year for $40 more. Some Kilted Chef is asking about the process. Oh, I love process questions. So the tasting process, you taste, Andrew tastes, others taste it, then a decision is made. Do you taste multiple times to account for the chance that your taste buds may be off one day to the next? So the tasting process involves just Andrew and I. Nobody else is tasting it. Oftentimes we'll make decisions independent of each other and then, send each other samples to confirm. But we have time. Yes, tasted over multiple days. So that's incredibly important to have enough samples to do that if we can. Right now I am gauging. It's really easy to tell what I don't like. That's the quickest way to tell. Generally the way it's working nowadays, since we're not going there and we can't taste 5 casks next to each other, it's like, okay, is this good? It's good. It's good enough. I can sell it. Great. What's the price? And then that becomes the most important thing because, it all depends on what we can sell. Since we don't have the option between multiple casks, that's where we're at today. That's why we have to get back to Scotland, because that's going to be crucial. We've had really good luck and leaned on our suppliers to select excellent casks. And I think our last campaign is proof that that we can get access to good stuff without traveling there. But in the long term, it's ultimately really important for a number of reasons, not just relationship building, but to find the stuff that we need to expand our reach into the warehouses. But yeah, we'll taste these again, in a little more thorough way, where I'll sort of take notes and grade if I can. Not grade per se, but sort of yes, no, maybe, and then go back and based on pricing, we'll make decisions. So we may love a cask, but if there's no way to sell it based on the price, I won't buy it. Like I just can't. The cost equation is always in the back of your mind. Whiskey Bastard wants the Glen Turret. What's Noble Physician? What's your IG? I don't know what that means. My personal IG. Because I'm right here right now. So winnowing out at this point, yeah, and just kind of playing with it, seeing seeing what's up. This is not the final decision. I mean, I can tell very, very well what I don't like. That doesn't mean other people won't like it. My personal Instagram is GoDavidOG. Brett is asking if KL will expand at any point in the future. I don't think so, but I wish we would open more stores. I think we have such a presence online that adding another store is always a big calculation, and at this rate we've basically added a store every decade since we opened, which is not exact, but so we're due for one. But whether that happens or not, I am not privy to. This turret is pretty fun though. Lots going on there. It's not super funky whiskey badger, but after those funk bombs, the last two funk bombs, maybe that's very chocolatey. I don't know what's going on with the chocolate today. Now we'll do. I'm gonna do this McDuff, 23-year-old McDuff, and then the older ones. Then we'll go wade into the Peters, and then we'll be done. Oh, you tasted the Leopold 3-chamber rye you posted earlier today. Any ideas when they'll have more affordable, non-collectible versions out? I don't think that's actually going to be a thing. I've heard that the next edition will likely be very expensive as well. I'm not sure why that is, but I think it's sort of a more long-term play. I imagine 3, 4, 5 years from now that there might be a more affordable version. I'd love to see one. Well, first of all, I'd love to see one at 7+ years old. That's going to take a while. What's your favorite whiskey under $200? You're going bonkers with those questions. That's a good one. Favorite whiskey under $200 right now is the 14-year-old Kleinleys from Gordon MacPhail, because I halfway through a bottle I just opened it. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can see that product come closer to $100 in the long term. I mean, obviously it's very limited and very expensive to produce, and he had a still commission. Are you a fan of Glenmoe Signet? Yes. I have no problems with Signet. No problem at all. A very solid whiskey, a very unusual. It's an interesting whiskey without being scary. It's like a great gift whiskey. If I was gonna go with high end, Highlander that comes in a fancy box, and like that was where I wanted to go, Signet would be right up there. There's nobody doing that roasted, the roasted barley, and there's some very old whiskeys in the blend. But yeah, I like Signet. Nothing wrong with it. So this is McDuff, 23-year. It is, where did it go? Oh yeah, 58.3. Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, that's got an old school space cider. Lots of honey, heather, grapefruit, kind of like a baked apple character to it. Cinnamon. Oh, I hope that's not too expensive. I really like this McDuff. We don't see a lot of McDuff, really. It's not a big distillery. Yeah, that's cracking. Yes, keep an eye out for the McDuff. Hopefully that'll be like less than $150. I'll be really happy. All right, Orkney. We are on to the oh no, let's finish off the big boy space ciders. Tormore, a fab distillery. You all saw the Redacted brothers, our friends at Thompson Brothers, who do you like the Woodford chocolate malt? Speaking of dark roasts, you know, I didn't love that whiskey. Yeah. I don't know. That one never clicked with me. Cooper's McDuff you had for a while was quite nice. It wasn't well priced, I would say. So here's a 25-year-old Tormore. You know, those beautiful copper tops. This is one of these very tropical ones. Oh yeah. Oh my God, this is like mango puree. Papaya, guava, just a fruit basket. Some maltiness behind, some slight peppery notes. That's a good Tormore. That's a nice Tormore. Not too floral. You know, we tasted one here a while back. It was just a total disaster. With the flowers, with the perfume. No, thank you. Yeah, that's great. Oh, I hope that's not $300. We'll see. Now, oh God, that's got a lot going on. Keep an eye out for that. Tormore 25-year. And G&M Discovery Series have been pretty good lately. The 13-year-old Tormore evaporated in less than 3 weeks. Yeah, Gordon MacPhail has really, really great whiskeys, and they're starting to really, I think, understand the American market better and do things that people are more interested in at a better price. This is a 30-year-old Inchgour. We have one coming, a 37-year-old and a 22-year-old. This would be our third Inchgour in as many years. It's a little bit tame. Probably should have done the Inchgour first. Kind of mossiness. Some fruit, like a little bit of stone fruit. It's very subtle after the last one. This is still 54.6. It's not bad. Some citrus oil, crystal malt. It's pretty. It's not very boisterous though, so notwithstanding some pretty special pricing, I think that's going to be hard to muster. Yeah, it's a shame when you can't buy a nice whiskey because we can't work out the pricing. That's always a bummer. Okay, next in Orkney 16. I remember this on the list being quite expensive, so I can't imagine we'll be able to do it because one of our other suppliers is able, you saw the 17-year-old we're able to put out for $79.99. It's just crazy. But if we can work the pricing out, this could be another good one. There's a lot of this no-name Highland Park out there. There's apparently a period of production that was just blown out to all the independent bottlers, and the pricing schemes are all over the place. You go to Signatory, and one day it's this price, the next day it's another, or Hunter Laing has it for nothing, and then here we are, 16-year-old. This is the 2000. This must be I think they were 2003 It was out there, 2002, 2003. Not a peaty one. Not a peaty one at all. Ooh, a bit of like olive stuff going on though. Let me see. I guess that's the peat. Lots of. Oh, that's weird. That's a weird Highland Park. Oh, I think this cask might be off. Tastes almost corked. Let's see. This is really weird. Dan asks, how often do you revisit the rejects and find out if your initial purchase? I'll always retaste these. So, this is 1:30. I think my best time to taste is like just, an hour after breakfast, fresh palate. So for real evaluation, this is a very weird Highland Park though. Almost cardboardy. Oh, peat on the back. Peat. It's like totally shut down on the nose. Peat on the back end. I'm gonna have to come back to that. Maybe something's wrong with my palate. I don't think so. I liked a lot of stuff here. That was weird. I'll have to talk to them about that. Maybe get a second opinion. On to Talisker. This is an 11-year-old Talisker. It's 60.2. We're getting a lot done here today, guys. Really appreciate you hanging out for this. Oh, yes. Ocean. Olives again. Ha! Funny. I don't chew gum. I try not to chew gum. I don't drink soda. Coffee. Coffee is a problem when you're tasting, so you want to be aware of that. But, I'm not a big juicy fruit fan. Wow, this is great. Ashy. Wild ocean spray. Citrus. Oh, an oily texture. Oh, damn it. This is going to be expensive. We're going to have to buy it, though. Yeah, that's so good. Talisker is a really special distillery. 8-year Talisker from a couple years ago. Yeah, we were able to get a decent price on the 10-year Talisker recently. It was like the first crack in the Scotch pricing problem right now. But it's only in NorCal. I can't get the price down here. And so it sits in our San Francisco store. But I think we're back at 55 for the Tally 10 years. Pretty killer. Kilted Chef notes that this is a chore watching me sip and figuring out where to spend our money. Well, I'm having fun, but I appreciate you being here. Yeah, that's good Talisker. I also recently bought a very old, expensive Kraganmore in refill sherry. I was surprised to see that. An 18-year-old Pulteney. That should be fun. And maybe some Ben Romax as well. There's some other old stuff we need samples of. So we're seeing what that would be. This is the Kalila, which incidentally I probably should have tasted before the Talisker because it's not feeling very peaty. Ooh, but it's lovely. More malty, much more crystalline. The smoke is less ashy and more green. That fresh peat smoke. A little bit of water. Kalila's great. I can't believe how good Kalila is. Every time we taste one of these. Oh, God, it's so good. Now it's like licorice. Tons of herbal, bitter herbs and green, like, not sage, but like maybe even some thyme, stuff like that. I kind of like the unpeated Kalila. I find them for unpeated whiskey like kind of peaty. But it depends on the price, But I think they're interesting and can be delicious. We haven't seen them in a while, and last time I saw them, it was like 160 plus, or maybe even more. So yeah, at $100, sure. The Sovereign 11 Kilted Chef, was that the sherried one? The sherry finished one? That was another controversial one, the Sovereign. I saw people love it, like best whiskey of the year, and then other people like, oh, it's just junk sherry, middling cask. Like, wow, I thought it was pretty good. Now on to the Lachigs. The fabulous Lachig from the Isle of Mull. It's another, we can't really get those anymore. The prices are insane. Did you like that, Chef? Did you enjoy it? This Lachig is odd, as it tends to be. There's like 3 completely different expressions of peat, one after another. I think I went in the wrong order again anyway. Here we're more like tarry, diesel fumes, none of the citrusy stuff. Less oceaniness in general. Darker smoke. Yeah, it reminds me like of Stoisha almost, in that hardcore dark peat, but not that green peat and not the ocean of the Talisker. Wow. Onward and upward. That's a good Lachig too. Funky one. Fun one. 15-year-old Lachig. 52.2. I nosed this earlier and I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want. Great color on that too. Nice dark color. I'm not sure what kind of cask that was, but here we go. It's very snappy, sort of almost like fireworks just gone off. Some fruit behind it, which is nice. Not a particularly fruity malt. Lachig at that. It's a little more raw than the 12-year. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the full-on oily, rich, heady Lachig that we like. I'm for sure getting this. This will be expensive, unfortunately, as well, but we'll do what we can to keep it reasonable. We're gonna be drinking well in 2022, guys. And finally, Laphroaig 16. We did secure 3 barrels of no-name Laphroaig 89, 90, 91. And yeah, Brett, you're right about the Moonrose Lachig. That was legit. All those Moonrose were killer values and good quality. Sometimes it's fun to have those small batch blends, kind of like what Cadenheads does. Cadenheads, they, 3 or 4 barrels at a time, you can get some pretty interesting stuff. Oh, this Laphroaig is great. I don't know, how much would you guys pay for a 16-year-old Laphroaig? 300? No, nobody will pay that. We did that sherried Chieftain's Laphroaig, which I loved. Bit of a sleeper. I think that was what, 200 and something? 250? I wonder what a 16-year would cost these days. Oh, that's good whiskey. That's good whiskey. It's very much Laphroaig. Laphroaig is a bit of a moving target sometimes, but this is a pretty classic style. Well, I really like that. That does it Pretty good. That's an hour of malt there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21 whiskeys. Only a couple of real stinkers. I couldn't stand the Jura. But I'll have to have Andrew taste it once he gets back. I'll probably want to send him the sample. The only other oddball was the Krigalki was a little weird, and the Rothie, so that was pretty good. The Mortlock was great. Lots of good stuff here, guys. Pretty exciting. Anything else you guys want to talk about before I jet? No? I'm getting in a tuxedo tonight. That's pretty weird. Going to a big event in a tuxedo. That's gonna be something new. The Laphroaig. These need time. These need time in the glass. Next week, I think we're going to open Bourbon. So you know what that means. Heads up. How do you feel about the new Bardstown? I just got my sample of the Fusion 5. They're not selling it in SoCal, but they left me a little sample. So I don't know how I feel about it yet. I generally like them. They're pretty good. Blue Run 14. Oh, now the questions are coming. The Blue Run 14 is coming soon. Yes, it should be any time now. Could be next week or the week after. They kind of just come when they come. But we're getting way more of that than we did the 13.5. We only had 30 bottles of that, the single barrel. So price has gone up too. So have fun with that. We did a lot of malt. Any final incoming bourbon news, Brett? Not great news in Kentucky. Bourbon is tight. Everybody's killing our. My wife's making fun of me. Killing our allocations. No real good news there. What we did get was someone wants me to come to Kentucky in October to select cask, so we'll probably do a trip that might help open things up. We have a couple of Old Forester barrels coming. We have 1 or 2 Russells coming, 4 Roses. We're basically ordering a Knob Creek every time we can. My wife is ridiculous. What's up with auction of spirits in reference to the OFBB 2019? I thought it was said it wasn't illegal. So it's not illegal for us to auction stock that we purchased from distributors. It is illegal for us to auction consignment from private individuals in California. Old Forester Rye Barrel is not being offered to us. So that OFBB was a bottle that came off of a dead order. Someone bought it and disappeared, and we did all the legal things to have it come back. They just never showed up, and at a certain point, just take the stock, and we're well within our rights to auction it. We decided to auction it because it was already in the warehouse where the auction department was, and just to see what was up with it. And otherwise, it's just it's silly to put one bottle on. It's just a joke. So that's what happened. OFBB got auctioned. It's not something we do typically. Last time I auctioned a bottle, my entire customer service staff yelled at me because there's just so much interest, both positive and negative. I think the only thing worse than you can do taking rare bourbon allocations and jacking the price up is to let the market decide and watch people just go nuts on it. So in terms of making friends, so we've made a pretty strong commitment to stick to MSRP. But occasionally we're gonna have a lot here and there that might sneak out of the inventory, for various reasons, or just as a little experiment, or the auction team has their hands on it and they want to get do something a little different. So that's that. Do you see any incoming tightening of the maker's cask strength and wood finish bottlings? No, I don't. We have plenty of access to the cask strength. They're making, they've quadrupled production over the last several years. So I think there's plenty coming. We haven't done a barrel, because the last few barrels haven't clicked as well as they should have. I think people are getting a little tired of that sort of, the wood influence thing. And I think certain recipes are just better than others. So we are going to go back in October, I think, and do a new cask. We're selecting a cask of New Riff next couple weeks. Other than that, bourbon-wise, not a whole lot of news. We're pushing to get bottles from everybody. Buffalo Trace, of course, we've got our selection. We're waiting for those. Oh, this Laphroaig is just cracking. We're waiting for those samples. There's not insignificant amount of whiskey coming from them. It's a little bit more than last year, but not much. Is makers hearing age statement requests? Makers will never bottle age statement stuff. It's against their ethos. They're fully in the after 6 years, it's all downhill camp, which is still a thing in Kentucky. That they've even, aged out some older stocks to prove that it's better younger. Obviously that's a matter of taste, but in any case, it's highly unlikely that you'd see that. But never say never, Any Russell's picks? There's just an endless questions on bourbon. Bourbon is so hot right now. Any Russell's picks in the works? Yes. They only gave us 2 barrels this year instead of our normal 5. But I have 3 that I picked last year that haven't shown up. So we technically have a total of 5 coming this year. The OS3, yeah, those are so good. And then I just picked another one out, and NorCal is getting a pick on one. So that there should be Russell's eventually. I just sent an email to the guy this morning. And then after that, Four Roses is basically done. Buffalo Trace is basically done. Maybe we'll get some more Knob this year. Same old stuff. What else is there out there? I think we've exhausted all our Heaven Hill barrels for the year. We'll try and get more. Elijah Craig, Larceny. I guess there's a Elijah Craig barrel-proof single barrel program. Apparently, that might be a thing, which would be a coup. That's, we've been asking for that for a decade and a half at least since I've started. It's like the first thing I asked when I saw my first sample of Heaven Hill. Elijah Craig single barrel. Can I have this cask strength? No, of course not. But it's slow. What Buffalo Trace are you still looking at this year? We are looking at the full thing. So we're definitely doing Stag Junior store picks. We're doing another Taylor store pick. We're going to be getting. We skipped one. I think we may have. We either didn't do a Blanton's or a Weller in exchange for one of the Stags. So those are coming. I forget which it was. We might not have a Weller store pick this year, right? Something like that. Which is fine, whatever. I mean, gosh. Because and then trying to work out just getting more whiskey. There are some exciting things happening. Hopefully some stuff maybe with Willett down the road. Maybe some stuff coming out of Castle and Key. I don't know. That's pretty much it, guys. There's not a whole lot not a whole lot of stuff you don't know about, that's for sure. Stag will be amazing. Of course, it will be very tight. But, that's the way it goes. So we might even have 2 Stag barrels coming. I don't know. Don't tell Buffalo Trace I said that. Don't tell anybody I said that, actually. Taylor and Stag, those are killer. If only they do them uncut. Yeah, that's happening. That's for sure happening. We just need the samples, and hopefully we'll be back in Kentucky. That usually greases the wheel a little bit, gets us out there. We can do some marketing, do some Instagram, do some blog posts, stuff like that. People love that stuff. Yeah, man, that's all I got. Chairman's Reserve 8-year rum or Clement single barrel. Well, the Chairman's is a funk bomb. It's a blend of the John Doerr, their high ester, and the other the Vendome pot still, so it's pretty funky. The Clements are a killer value, and they're they're pretty clean as agricoles go. So it's a tough call. I'd say probably the Chairman's is, at that reduced price is a better value in terms of like getting older, high ester, high proof whiskey is typically expensive, but so is agricole. So it's a hard call. When do KNL dinners again? We've actually already done a dinner. Can you believe that? We've already done a dinner. We did a tequila dinner with El Tesoro. It's just a matter of the brands getting more comfortable with it. A lot of those dinners are driven by the brands themselves. Noble Physician asks, I had seen 2 bourbon store picks hit the shelves on the new product feed at 2 a.m. and sell out immediately. That's weird. That shouldn't happen. It might be inventory. When was that? What we have sometimes happening is during inventory they'll find a bottle, and that can sometimes be it's not a new store pick, it's just the arrival. Not a whole lot of people working at 2 a.m. That might have been me adjusting stuff. Not many people stay up that late. We're working on the spirit section. Old Forester barrel strength rye coming to KNL? Yes, but very, very limited. Barrel proof rye, who knows? I don't think so. Maybe. Yeah, they did not look. Russell's we've already talked about. It's coming. It will be hard to get. No on the OFBSR. Yes on the RSIB 13. Yes. We're getting the rye. We're getting the Old Forester. We're just not getting the single barrels. The Smooth Ambler rye. I haven't been offered those yet, but I would certainly buy those. I have a High West barrel coming, double rye in Carcaveos casks. That's pretty weird. That's a wine that even the geekiest geeks don't know. JDBSR, I don't think so. We got 12 bottles and that was it. In and out, gone and gone. Yeah, everybody really liked that. It's funny because that first Jack Daniel's rye they released was just nowhere as good. But apparently this one's great. I didn't get to taste it. Yeah. Not a great news on those allocated bourbons. It's just sort of like the demand is just continued to grow and grow and grow, and the supply seems to shrink every year. Oh, weird. Really? Yeah, those sound like they were the rise. Those must have been inventory adjustments. I don't even know if they actually sold. Probably what happened is someone's in there finding a bottle or adjusting an order in or out, and they may get listed for a second and then pulled off because they're not real inventory. It's an odd quirk of our system. But yeah, we have not gotten any old Smooth Ambler. I don't remember even touching anything like that, so probably wasn't me. Was that recently? Yeah, probably the operations guys were working late, something like that. Not totally unusual. So yeah, that's all I got. We're gonna open some fun bourbon next week, I think. I'm not sure what exactly. Maybe we'll do a little. Oh, your buddy got one. That's impressive. I have no idea where those came from. I can look it up and find out. Very weird. Did he actually pick it up? I hope it's not a glitch. Could have been, like we said, one of these dead orders. I don't know why it would be at 2 a.m. That's pretty weird. But yeah, maybe they loaded up. Someone's working late, and an order gets refunded or returned, and voila, it's good to go. But yeah, that's atypical to say the least. So I'm going to yakety yak updates. Did I miss them? Nothing. So we've just ordered a bunch of Armagnac. The Puche Gou, the rare Armagnac company, I ordered some 78, some 82, some 84, and some 1990. Pretty badass stuff. Similar to the 81 if you've had it. I think I like the 82 best, or I did like the 82 best. Lots going on in that one. And then, try a bunch of different vintages. Unfortunately, the 78 is in a decanter and it's very expensive, so that's a bummer, but whatever. The only thing coming in cognac right now is Gros Perrin. We have a bunch of Gros Perrin coming. Oh, I almost knocked you over there. And then on Armagnac, we have, what else did I order? Oh, I have all the Barillon coming, like literally every vintage of Barillon. I have, we have, if you remember those 1964 Bayless, the Grangerie super olds, we got access to more of the 64, and they've now released a 1970 and a 75, which are all like very, they're very good, but they're very affordable and good for the price. We have, what else is coming? We have Domaine de Jambon, and most people don't probably remember that. That was a little domain we visited way back. Funky, high ester, high oak, good stuff. And yeah, it's great to be here, Chuck. Thanks for coming through. I'm not going to turn this off, even though the world's open again. We don't have a great way to connect to everybody all over the place. So we'll continue to do this. And I really appreciate you guys coming out. We'll be back next week. Bourbon next week. I think I'm going to taste some bourbon. Maybe we'll do a little giveaway, see if there's anything fun in the vault for you guys that show up. That's my favorite thing to do, is give good people good booze. So we appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, thanks for hanging out. Ciao.